What's up, everybody? Lefty here with Party Science Vlog. I'm sitting down with DJ DCaso. I had the honor of meeting him when we did a cruise ship get-together for the team. It was my first one. And when I got into the room and kind of talked to everybody, he was the silent kind of watching everybody type. And for me, I always feel like those guys are the ones who pay attention and know the most, but say the least until you really have a conversation with them. So after talking to him for a little bit, I was like, yo, this guy, I gotta interview him. I gotta pick his brain. So I'm here today. I want to thank you so much for your time, D.
Of course.
Thank you for having me, man.
Of course.
I love your studio.
Thank you, Sound Units. It's a group of us.
Yeah,
bro.
This is dope, bro.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. As we were sitting there talking that day, I was like, yo, there's something about him, because you were kind of just sitting back, and I was talking to Oscar, and then I was talking to some of the other guys, and then after a while you and I started talking, and we're like, yo, I feel like this guy, he's some legit shit. So I was like, yo, I gotta pick his brain. So I genuinely appreciate this, man.
Of course, I appreciate it.
So I guess to start off, I'm always curious how people get started.
Yeah.
You know, not just you being a DJ, but like what your childhood was like, getting to the point where you're like, yo, DJing might be it. So for you, did you grow up like in a DJ group or era? Like, was your family, like, how did it all come together for you?
Not at all. So grew up very Christian, a lot of gospel in the house. Through basketball, I ended up in Massachusetts. My basketball coach sent me to Massachusetts. I think the biggest thing was just New York gets music faster than Boston, faster than Massachusetts. So the things I was playing in my room, people were like, oh, where'd you get that? Where'd you hear that from? Mm-hmm. And it then turned into, let's do some house parties. The house parties turned into, oh, we love how you're mixing the music together. You should do something more with it. And then the school gave us an opportunity, or gave myself an opportunity, where they're like, you can make a lot of money from DJing the prom. And again, I had no equipment at this time. I was still figuring it out. And I got some
So they
friends.
offered you the gig.
They offered me
and
the
you were
gig.
like, I'm gonna figure this shit out.
Yep.
Okay.
Something I learned early was like, just say yes and figure out the rest.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Right?
Absolutely.
So just say yes, figure it out.
Yep. I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. What you need? You need a DJ? How many people? I'm there.
So I got my friends to like give me my first investment, and they helped me to get my first original equipment. It wasn't anything fancy. Got that original set, did what I had to do at that later on, and just doors started opening up.
Nice.
As far as other universities, bars, and then it happened, but this was never something I thought about.
So when you say gospel and you grew up in that household, like, were you thinking all your life you were going to be some form of like that same gospel feel and family? Like,
not necessarily. It's just more so you do what you're told kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, you're going to,
you know?
Okay.
So I didn't start hearing like outside music unless I was in school. We grew up in a very Caribbean, again, Brooklyn. So very.
I used to live in Queens.
All right.
Yeah, I was in Astoria, so I got
Brooklyn,
you.
so it was reggae heavy, soca heavy, and then you'll hear your hip hop. But again, my neighborhood was more reggae, soca heavy.
Right.
So it's like I knew those because we had block parties. Our school parties were mostly that, right? So I know at the house I was this Christian.
Yes.
I was this big Caribbean dancer, dancing, having a good time. So it was just a mix of that. And Massachusetts is where I actually, I want to say, honed my skills to be more of an open format DJ.
Okay.
Right. So again, original was hip hop.
So you went
soca.
The proms, you did that, then you got into bars. When you got to Mass, what was the first? Do you remember the first gig here in Mass, or like how?
First gig was Boca Bar, actually.
Boca Bar
in Waltham.
Okay.
Costa Rican spot in Waltham gave me my first opportunity on a Wednesday night. I did a Latin.
Wow, you remember Wednesday night?
Yeah, Wednesday nights, because we were able to bring people from Lawrence, Lynn, and all the other towns. So I think our capacity at the time was like 80 to 90, and that's probably pushing it.
Yeah.
But we used to have lines every single Wednesday of people trying to get into the spot. And again, I was just playing reggae, soca, and like Spanish. But everybody was just like, we're not hearing this on a regular basis, at least from my knowledge, right?
Right. So you were one of the one of the first people to bring it to that area.
I can't necessarily say the first. I would just say that I was dominating.
Okay.
At that time.
Right. You were the most consistent.
At putting it out. Right.
Okay.
And then from there, just people just start seeing what I could do, and I was networking, and it just started to another bar down the street, to another bar down the street, and then I was just everywhere.
Nice.
And then at that time, I was very big on steel sharpen steel. So how can I learn the techniques I don't know, right? I was a one-handed DJ at that time.
Okay.
So I created a group where we're all DJs, but we're gonna all like learn something, try to bring it back to the group so that we can learn something in different ways.
Yeah.
And that just worked out. And as we started growing individually, we started bringing each other back to do different events, and it just started going from there.
Nice.
Honestly.
What was the first technique you learned as a DJ that you feel like you still kind of lean on today?
I mean, of course, it was my left hand scratch. Like it was just a very simple baby scratch with my left hand, because I'm right-handed by nature, like writing. Okay. But I notice when I'm DJing, my left hand becomes my dominant hand.
So that's the one that you tend to scratch with, and you're using
and I use my right hand as
okay.
my favorite hand. I can do both, but I tend to be the cleanest. But my left hand is on the vinyl,
right,
and my right hand is on the crossfader.
Right.
So learned that first, and then it started. Again, as things grew, I met DJ DCaso, who I would say is one of my original mentors. Okay. And he was the one that started teaching me how to do like body tricks and learn how to manipulate the vinyl differently. It went from paying $50 for classes, $75 for classes, to doing practice sessions in his house. Nice. Right?
So he saw your motivation to want to improve. Yeah. And he's like, yo, I'm going to take him with me.
I'm getting cooked for mom cooking food. We in the room just practicing. Like, he was my original motivation to like become more of a turntablist. Okay. And then
DJ DCaso, what was it?
DJ DCaso. Okay. Yeah. That's my big bro forever. And then from there, I think I just found faith, because things just started falling in line. So I met another New Yorker from Harlem, Big Walt. Okay. Big Walt was working with DJ Pupto at Jam 945, iHeartRadio at the time. Okay. And Walt and I just started we did New York banter. Okay. You know, like that. We just kept going at each other and just turned into that's my big brother for real.
Yeah. When you can shit on each other, but it's respectful,
love. Like, you know, we're not crossing the line, but it's like genuine
It's
love.
fun. Yeah, absolutely.
So he started bringing me to events. He was like, hey, you set up. I'm setting up quick. I'm breaking down quickly. Because, again, New York, you getting
in and out.
You
bro.
have to. That's called safety, right? Yeah. So he helped me.
Because the clubs out there closing at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They ain't closing like 1 a year, you know. But the party's starting at the time they're closing. They get rowdy.
You know, people acting crazy. So you got to get in, get out. Stop. Don't let people see how much equipment you have, what you're bringing. So it was just very, very mindful of how I was moving. And then he introduced me to Pup. Pup started telling me to do gigs for him, open up for him. Nice. And then that turned into radio. And then.
So when you. So first it was DJ DCaso, then Big Walt.
Big Walt,
and then Big Walt was the connection to Pup. And then once you met Pup, he eventually slowly started bringing you on, and then from there you found yourself having
my own radio segments, and then other gigs would align. We were doing stuff with the military.
What was that like? What was the first radio segment like? Was it nervous? Was it like, I'm gonna go crush?
November 23rd. It was Thanksgiving 2013. That was my first show ever. And it was just one of those where it's like, again, my school, I went to Brandeis, and it's in Waltham. So my original community was Waltham based. Okay. And to feel that love from everybody, like people posted, it was Facebook.
Early stage of social media. Bro, I got you. 2013. It wasn't popping the way it's popping now. I got you.
So everybody posted on Facebook. But it was just dope to be like people sitting next to their radios actually recording the whole set.
Nice.
That was my first feeling of like, wow, like I'm impacting people, or people really see me for who
they're spending their time listening to me.
It was an appreciation more so than anything else, and I felt like I was finding my community. Again, just being the outsider, finding my community here was like important for me. Right. So that was just one of those surreal moments, you know? And it feels good, because till this day, people still walk up to me when I go to Waltham. They're like, oh, I remember you back then. It just feels, I don't know, I appreciate those originals that never changed on you. You know, they supported you.
And they're not trying to get something from you.
Yeah, they still big you up, but it's like it's general like
you're a boy. They're your boy. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they understand your grind and they ain't trying to capitalize on you. They just want to support you. Yeah.
So it's just dope. I love that about it. That's what I appreciate.
What was the transition like from working in the clubs to radios? Did you find that it was as easy choosing the songs, or like I don't know the structure of radios, right? So like how does the two differ?
For myself, growing up listening to New York radio, it was very difficult coming to Boston to play radio.
Okay.
New York radio is very fast paced, very hip hop heavy.
Yeah.
Very talk on the microphone. Break new records kind of heavy, right? So growing up with people like Funk Master Flex and Funk, like it's just different. So when I came here, I had to learn and understand what the science is for Massachusetts. And playing on radio in Massachusetts is more so these people aren't in a club. They're literally driving in their car.
Right.
They're either relaxing. They're not turning up until X amount of time.
Right.
So slow down on your mixing. Learning how to speak in 30-second segments and trying to make sure that you're sticking to one major point and not just going on tangents, right? Helping me to understand that when it comes to radio, how it has to be received is totally different. And I think because of that, I've learned how to become a better DJ, because everything about radio is using pockets. And how I explain to people is that you're supposed to play a song that everybody knows and then pocket it with maybe a song that you're trying out and someone that you want to experiment with.
Right.
But you know that in that pocket, people will always come back to a song that is very singable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So try something, go back to something everybody knows, try something. Make sure you always come back to censor, right? So if you want to go left, you want to go right, that's cool, but always come back to that pocket.
The common ground.
The common ground.
Yeah.
As long as you do that.
In sales, I used to do door-to-door sales, and we would call it a shit sandwich. You would put the thing that you weren't certain about in the sale in between two things that you knew they would love and eat up. You know what I mean? So absolutely, when you're trying new shit, it's like, here's the safe song, here's the song that I don't know if it's gonna go over. Here's the song ready to come out of that song in the event that it flops.
Exactly.
You know, it doesn't give the reaction.
Exactly.
So yeah, I definitely.
So that's what I learned about that, and I think that made me a better DJ.
Let me ask you this, bro.
Talk to me.
What do you feel? So I feel like a lot of young DJs, when they start out, they go to the club and they play for their friends. They play for themselves. They don't necessarily try to read the crowd.
Yeah.
Did you ever go through that phase, or did you find yourself, your goal was always to make sure it was a better party, so you were constant? Like, how did you transition in making sure your music selection was able, here's the hit, here's the guest, how were you able to eventually get to that?
No, right? Because you're around your own community. So I know that the songs that I'm playing, everybody else around me already liked.
Right.
Because I've tested it in my bedrooms. I've tested it in the dorm parties. So as we started going to these venues in the name area, I knew what songs to play already because we're all on that same vibe. That was a community that was coming out.
Right.
What happened is, as I'm very big on, like, before you go to a spot that you want to DJ at, you need to visit at least 2 to 3 times so you can catch the vibe, especially on whatever night you're planning on doing. And in me doing the research, I was like, wow, I need to like step it up. So I need to step up picking up more house music. I need to pick up more like pop-ish music, you know? I just realized Massachusetts was so much more, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just more white.
I was gonna say that. I was like, if you don't say it, I'm gonna say it. You got your house music, you got your pop music, you got your dance music. You know what I mean?
Right? And it's not, right? Because it's really not. But at the time, clubs were very. They want their house.
Now they love their Bad Bunny. They love it. You know what I mean? Like, it's more commonplace.
Exactly.
But back then, it was like, yo, you got that David Guetta song?
You understand?
Avicii?
It's rocking.
It's
I
just
love
like,
it.
but like, yo, you heard this hip hop though? No, nah, give me. You know what I mean? Like,
So it was love, but it was like, okay, cool. It threw me out my comfort zone, and that's where I was in love with just watching other people's sets. Like, I just like learning, and I like being able to be like, okay, he did it that way. watch me do it this way.
Right.
Like it's that competition. I'm competitive as hell, but I'm competitive in the essence that I'm not trying to knock you down. I just want to know. I want that glimmer in your eye when I do something that you thought you were the best at. And I do it very calmly and just very like masterfully. Like that makes me happy. Right? But it's never to put someone down. It's just like
you want to make the event better. You want to stand out.
Yeah.
But it's like you're not trying to shoot the DJ before you or the DJ after you.
Never.
You're like, yo, I'm just here to make the party continue the way we all want it to go.
That's all it is.
Nah. I was the last DJ to join the DJ crew. At this point, like everybody's back in New York at this point. I'm here. So I was the last one to join. So I was the guy opening when no one was in the club, closing when everybody was drunk and walking out the club. You know what I mean? Like, so in those 15 to 20 minutes of sets that I got, it was like, what can I fucking get off now that will keep these guys just here a few more minutes to get these guys to realize I'm the real deal.
Yeah.
So when you say that, it's that you went through the testing process of like, yo, I played in smaller venues, and then as I got to bigger venues, because I tested the stuff beforehand, and then I went to the venues and spent some time there to make sure that if I haven't played there, what's the vibe, and is the vibe playing this? I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll go to venues and I feel like the vibe they're setting for the room is not necessarily what the room is looking for at that moment. You know what I mean? To keep the crowd there so that the energy can keep building.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So it's funny that you say you visited 2 or 3 times, because that way you don't miss the vibe. You get to see multiple
different
angles of what's happening there. So, because for me, I might go once, and then I'm like, all right, I got the set. I know what to do. I know how to rent people.
But you see, like, I learned early, like, I think being a New Yorker in general, we learn how to be people's people, because at some point you're like, either I'm going to see this person again, whatever the case is. I feel like you just got to know how to schmooze. It's a New York thing, right? I would always play for the bartenders and bouncers, right? Because again, even if you're playing in that early set, I felt the bartenders and bouncers are always going to be the ones that
be the word,
right? I always something I tell people now is like, never be the person that gasses your own self up.
Right.
Make sure you have other people around you that do it for you naturally. So
and most people don't realize they should be cool with security and like these should be your people, because they're the ones who are putting back to the managers who are doing that.
And that's how you get the longevity in most of these places. And that's where my brain started to switch from just play aggressively and get this music out to read the room. Right back to that question, it's like reading the room came from, I know the owners are looking for something very specific. How can I give them their pocket, but still be like, but I'm still Daryl.
Right.
I'm still Brooklyn.
You still get to bring out what you
right? So it's like finding those remixes, making those remixes, or just again, even if you're playing the straight up songs, like play the song that you know is gonna work and find something that's close by that you know is gonna still bring that energy. Right. So that's how it started working out. So
that's cool, bro. It's funny you say pockets, because I think as you're saying this, for me, when I first came into like, I guess what would be my first successful gig, whoa, I fucking, I did it. I was mixing hip hop and house and rock.
That's dope.
And I was playing for UMass Lowell.
Okay. Yep.
My brother and we got into a spot, and the spot was the worst bar in Lowell. It was the worst bar, and they gave it to us, and they were like, hey, we got this massive Halloween bar crawl that's happening.
Okay.
And they're required to come through the bar crawl.
Gotcha.
So they brought us on, and it was like $50 gig, but we were playing for 4 hours. First shit, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm getting the spot. I'm getting the spot. You know. So we get in for $50. We rock the bar crawl, and we're like, all right, they're gonna come back at night. Bro was dead, absolutely dead. But over the next 3-4 months, it would be like 5 of the people who were at that bar crawl would show up to the bar with their friends, and they'd see us and they'd hear us. And it was just like all of a sudden you're playing for the bartender, you're playing for the security guard, then the girls come in, and you're like, all right, I'm playing for the girls real quick, and I'll get you guys again. Don't worry. You know what I mean? It's just like, and you're finding yourself like, all right, keep them. All right, we got white girls, we got some Beyonce, we'll get you your Ariana, we'll get you what you want, little baby over here. I got you. You know what I mean? Like. And then all of a sudden, everybody's in love with Bad Bunny.
And then it turns Bad Bunny heavy.
So, you got the phones, everybody's...
Dude, the most annoying thing in the world. I think it's so disrespectful. I get it. Do I understand why people do it? But it's also that's what I think is the downfall to what music is now. That everybody wants you to be a jukebox instead of enjoying the vibe.
Right.
Like, no one comes to the club to just be like, let's enjoy the ambiance. Let's get some drinks. Let's meet some new people. Let's dance. It's now play the song I want to hear right now, or I'm leaving.
Yeah. Oh,
and
bro.
I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, deuces. I call it hot girl syndrome, bro.
Yeah,
they come to the DJ booth like they've always been like.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say it, and I'm sure you relate to this. Is like, after you've been doing it for a while, so many different types of people have approached you that the hot girl who is hot in her circle, or the hot, the popular guy that's famous in his circle, whatever. You've encountered so many of those different people that you're numb to the way they're trying to handle you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like you just turn to them like, yo, I got your song. Give me a minute, I got you. Give me a few minutes, I got you. And they're looking at you from the dance floor like, you say you got my song? Like, I will.
Give me time.
You get it. You're here for a while, bro. If you running out the door, there's no point in me playing your song. I got people here who are gonna hang out. If you try to leave, I'm gonna play their stuff.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So it's an interesting game because, like, I don't know about you, like, I'll drink while I'm DJing, but I don't go hard. Like, I go just enough to, like, but I always want to be aware of what's happening in the room. And, like, sometimes you'll get those sloppy people that come up and, like, you're feeling nice, but then they come up and they say some shit and you're just like, all right, do I let this ruin my set? Like, do I let them get in my head? Or do I just say, like, do I just, you know?
I'm super high anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, something I'm still fighting to break. But I drink to calm myself down.
Yeah.
Because I'm hyper aware when I'm sober. So I'll have like that shot.
You over and analyze everything.
Right? So any show I do, I have a shot and I get a beer. And that's usually like how I start off. It's usually like
breaks the nerves, keeps the hands from shaking, makes you smooth.
Right? So I'm not paying attention as much. But it is that. It's I don't like when people like crowd the DJ booth. Because again, coming from New York, there's certain like triggers and trauma.
So like it's cool if you're in the booth, but
give me some space.
Let me DJ. Like, I'm still working here. This is still work.
Your community helps because I've built up a community that they're like, all right, we'll take the request for D.
Like, your boy's at the front of the booth. He's taking the song.
Like, that's cool for me. Like, all right, you tell me, the security will take the request.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, let's figure it out that way.
Right.
But
for me, we had this thing where it was like, if it was a trash song, like you knew it was gonna fuck up your dance floor because you played it before, some shit like that. We had this thing where we turned to each other and just like, yo, nod your head. Just nod your head. Cool. All right, good.
Yeah, we still do that now. I still
smile
do that.
and nod your head. All right, got you. Yeah.
I literally do that for the homies.
Yeah, exactly.
Just shake your head. Shake your head.
All right, they happy. They saw it. All right, they ain't gonna get it, but they think they will.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
There's little tricks of the trades I think we all kind of use, you know?
Of course.
So it's fun. So now that you've been doing it for a while, right? You've tasted all levels of the thing. I'm not saying you don't have further goals, obviously, but you've tasted levels of DJing from the videos you showed me when we were sitting down and things like that I don't think the average DJ, you know, on a regular, they got their 1 gig a week or month or whatever, has tasted. So what is it for you now that you've had these higher levels of DJing that keeps you consistent to continue to go out there and continue to work and continue to stay motivated to do the backyard scratching, to work on the left and the right? Like, how do you stay focused, and what's at the core?
It's the radio. Honestly, for me, the radio is what keeps me. So one, we're constantly getting new records from the labels. So it's like having that opportunity to get that music directly to us. Right. It makes me now want to do a little bit more work and be like, all right, let me go see what else this artist has. Right. The labels bringing the artist around and creating those relationships with them. You're now like, I like this person like exponentially. Let me do some more back work. Maybe I want to push this music. Right. Whatever the case is. So the radio is what keeps me like excited about it. The opportunity to figure out a new way to implement it is what like drives me. Right. So you said that you did your gig and it was like house, hip hop, and rock. Like, my thing now is like, I want to walk into a space and play a set that people visually looking at me wouldn't expect. Right? So
absolutely.
Dark skin, tall locks. Everyone always expects hip hop or some kind of reggae.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So hip hop, Afro beats, some type of like maybe Latin. Yeah, absolutely.
So I love when I come in and then I play some deep house
Uh-huh.
that
Uh-huh.
they never expected,
Yep.
or some country something that they never
Mhm.
expected. But I do it in such a way that people take their eyes off their phone, or they break that conversation very quickly and just
Because
look
they
up.
heard something. Yeah.
That's what like gives me that like.
Absolutely.
Like I still got it.
Yeah.
And y'all haven't even seen me flex yet. Like,
Right. I'm just beginning. This is warming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
that feeling,
Uh-huh.
or like finding a mix that works. Like, cause I don't really plan sets. I have crates. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So I'm just in and out.
Uh-huh.
But coming to making something work is just like, damn, that's dope.
Right.
And seeing people's reactions to it, like that makes me happy still. You
Right.
know?
It's
It's a drug.
Oh, it's a high,
this
bro.
shit is-
When the
this
room
is
leaves and it's
yeah.
empty, you get a little, like, I don't know about you, bro, but like after, I haven't had the crowds you've had.
Yeah.
But I've had, what I
Yeah.
consider to be a decently large crowd for the average DJ. And bro, when that room clears and you're by yourself, the music is stopped, and you're just sitting there, I don't know about you, but just for a little bit, I get a little sad because the high that you're on,
Mhm.
the reactions you're getting, the goosebumps of hearing these
Yes.
people chant the song and you
Yes.
killing the song
Yeah.
and everyone's, it's insane. Yes, absolutely. So it's funny you say you keep your crates. So the way I describe my crates is similar to you, but I just call them situational crates.
Okay.
So I just create situation crates.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
depending on who shows up, I'm just gonna hop into that situation real quick, and then the next one or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and it's funny. I only did that because my very first gig I went to go try out for, I had set up 30 songs that I was gonna play. And the DJ before me played like 20 of them.
Yeah.
And then I hopped on, and the guy's name was DJ Jaravicious, I remember. And he comes over to me and he's like, yo, bro, they've been playing house all night, play hip hop. And I prepped no hip hop songs. Nothing. And I just remember I turned to the DJ before me and I was like, I played one Biggie song. I threw Biggie on because I was like, tried and true.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Tried and
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Play some Biggie for it out and whatever. And I was so new that the side that I was playing on, I had the filter on the whole time. So every time I was playing the song on the deck too, it was like
just wobbly. Yeah.
And the DJ next to me comes over like right before, and he goes and he turns the filter back on, and I hear the music come on, and I'm like, oh man, I've been playing like that for like 15 minutes, yeah.
Sheesh.
And then after the guy tells me to play hip hop, I turned to that same DJ who fixed the filter for me, and I was like, yo man, can you just hop on? And I walked out with my head out, like head down, tuck tail, didn't even say bye to the guy who and I just remember saying, I'll never fucking have that happen to me again, where I am in a room and I feel like someone played every single song and now I got nothing.
Exactly.
So moving forward from that point, I was like, all right, what's the crowd? Who's here? All right, we got our white people crowd, like, you got your girls crate, you got the white girl crate, and you got you know what I mean? Like, you break it all down.
Yeah.
So when you say things like walking into a room where everybody's expecting a certain style of music from you, for me, I'm white, so everybody expects house, hip hop, and not very little hip hop regularly. So for me, where I grew up though, like I came here, I didn't speak English, and everybody I hung out with was Spanish, Asian, and black. So I knew all the reggaeton and the dance songs, stuff like that. So when you hop on and all of a sudden you're spinning this stuff, they look at you like, yo, everybody thinks I'm Spanish. The second they start hearing Spanish music, yo, you know, hey, my friend, come here. And it's wild to see how someone can look at you and be like, oh, he's gonna be a trash DJ. He's gonna be a trash DJ. Why'd you bring him? And then by the end of the night, they're like, yo, they might not say it to you, but you can see in their mannerisms of like, who brought this guy to like, yo, that was a good pick. That was a good pick. So for yourself, what would you say the best advice you ever received has been, and what is the worst advice you've ever received has been?
Best advice is best advice in general. I think it's who knows you, not who you know.
Okay.
Right? I'm very big on that one. It's who knows you, not who you know. I've been allowed a lot of success and opportunities because people have gained trust of my person. I can tell you I know a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people. I've been around a lot of people, but we haven't built any kind of genuine bond.
Right.
Those people that now acknowledge you when you walk into a room, those people that say your name when you walk into a room, those are the people that you know will somewhat have your back,
Right.
right? Or at least you're hoping, right? If it's for
They're more likely to say something positive versus negative.
Right.
Someone was brought up your name.
Exactly.
Right. If they just brought up your name, they're gonna say, "Yo, he's cool shit." Versus,
and it might be that little piece that you need
Right.
to get your foot in the door,
Absolutely.
right? So it's who knows you, not who you know.
Okay.
I'm very big on that. I think the worst piece of advice I gained ever was to remain humble.
Okay.
I think that is a double-edged sword for a lot of different people.
Yes.
So for me, I strongly believe me being humble stopped me from a lot of opportunities.
Sure. Because
Right.
you're like, all right, I'll get the next one.
It's a not a confidence, like a bad confidence, but it's like because I wasn't telling people my accolades, people didn't know what I was capable.
You were just
of.
the DJ showing up.
Right, I was
That's
just, I know this guy because
you're just
of
D.
him.
Yeah.
I know this guy because of him.
Uh-huh.
But it was never like I know D because he did this opportunity and just like killed it.
All right.
So again, I think that, and there's a way to do it respectfully in
Yeah,
the right way.
absolutely.
But my brain automatically took it hardcore. Yo, do not try to show off anywhere that you're at.
Huh.
So I would be opening, and I'm just like, all right, not necessarily giving a lackluster performance, but I'm like, I gotta save it.
I don't want to outshine.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm doing that, but that's hurting me,
Uh-huh.
right? So now on the
Because
back
you're just
end,
like
people are
another other average DJ.
but on the back end, people are like, yo, D, I know you could have done better. Why? Man, I was trying to show respect. Why?
Yeah.
That person would have done it for you.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
and I hear that a lot till this day where it's like, D, stop, show out.
It is a cutthroat industry that we're in, bro. There's
It
so
is.
many bars on the blocks. You
It
know what I mean?
is.
There's only so clubs. So I get you can't just keep your mouth shut, show up to a gig, and then walk out and not say much or do much.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think, again, both of those are double-edged swords, but I think being humble hurt my career more than it did, just because, again, people don't know my accolades unless you know my accolades.
Right.
And I'm also not someone that likes to share too much.
Yeah, you didn't really.
I'm just not that
yeah,
person.
yeah.
Like,
You
once
had-
we get close, let's talk. But
Right. You had said something at the table when we were talking, or maybe it was outside when we were walking. You said that once you switched your name to DCaso, you found yourself having a pop in your career.
yeah,
Do you think you created a persona to fit DCaso, or do you feel like that was just a name? Like, what about it made that take it to the
Esquire
next-
had limitations.
Okay.
Esquire, when I went to college, I wanted to be a lawyer very early. So I was like, my original name of my group was Knights of the Round Tables.
So that was the group of the DJs you brought together.
So
Okay.
Knights of the Round Tables.
Okay.
So Knights of the Turntables, right?
Sure.
So Round Tables, and then I was like, all right, Esquire is someone that helps the stable, blah blah blah. I was just like, all this stuff works out. Long story less long, as I started doing more of the business, and I'm like, I want to do more things overseas. I was like, how do I create a business? Blah blah blah. They were like, you need to come up with something that is original to yourself. That way that you're marketing across all social media the exact same.
And they're finding you,
So
not...
you need to-
yeah.
Right, you need to have the exact same name on Facebook as Instagram, as Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. And I was in a chat one day, and the actual DJ Esquire was in the chat. I didn't know there was an Esquire from Brooklyn. Probably like, he's from Crown Heights. I'm from East Flatbush. So someone's in the chat and they're like, yo, look at this copycat Esquire. So I'm doing the research. I'm like, oh shit, this man got Kia commercials. He's a world champion. He's traveling the world. I'm like, yo, I am a poser. Like, so like the next couple weeks just turned into like, Daryl, ew, that could never happen again.
Yeah.
And I did the work and I came up with DCaso, and I feel like that just it gave me a confidence that I didn't have before, because I'm like, no one has this name.
Right. That was yours.
That was a completely mine. Every platform opened up, and I mean any platform, Etsy, DCaso.
Yeah.
Like,
And the way you spell it, DCaso.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like that's very unique in that spelling as well.
Yep. Because again, it came from Picasso.
Right.
Because I draw in spray paint.
Okay.
Or I did. You have to choose, right?
Right.
So,
some things are just fun now.
Yeah. So it came from Picasso, but then I was like, I feel like I audibly create these like pictures for people.
Right.
So I was like, all right, how can, and I don't like people calling me out my name, so I was like, I just like D.
Yeah.
D makes me feel comfortable. It lets me know that I know you.
Yeah.
People that call me by my DJ name, I'm like,
Yep.
it's probably something.
If you hit me with a name that people were calling me in middle school or high school, you know me.
Yeah.
If you call me my name,
my persona,
like my persona,
I'm just
you
like,
met me at the club.
Yeah.
You met me at the club, or you met me somewhere. Yeah.
So I was like, how do I incorporate my name, my initial into this? And it just came together. Removed the P, took out a C, took out a S. I was like, all right, this is original. I know no one's gonna have this.
Nah, and it's exactly what you say. When you say DCaso, you hear Picasso in your brain. You think music, you think DJ. So it fits it perfectly. And then once they hear you, they're like, he's an artist. He makes music. He makes art with his music. Yeah.
So that just became my thing, and it worked. It really worked, man. Yeah. Like everything really started picking up from there.
So it was the branding. You felt it was the branding that you needed to put together to really get yourself to the next level.
It really was.
Okay.
And me trying to switch gear from taking care of everybody else's careers to finally focusing on mine.
Now, when you say that, do you mean like the Knights of the Round Table crew, or you mean just in general?
In general.
Okay.
I was very big on, all right, take these steps to get here, do this. And I was just focused on helping everybody else build their brand. Okay. And I was allowing mine to fall to the wayside.
Right, because you were trying to help them. You were like, I'll get mine eventually, but if I help them.
I always looked at life. I feel like the more you get put into the world, it'll come back to you somehow. Yeah. That's not always the case. Right?
Or it takes way fucking longer than it should, and then you find yourself like wrong time, wrong place.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It wasn't.
So I think I definitely snuffed out a lot of my light early by trying to help everybody else and seeing it not work the way. And that's when I learned about like expectations, right? I created expectations that were false, and I put them on people that I never I put people in positions that they weren't supposed to play.
Yeah, you assume they'll fit the role, but if you've never seen the habits, then you find yourself in a position of like, oh fuck, I put the wrong person there, and now the other person who could have. Now they're sour. Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And aligning yourself with certain people that you shouldn't have, like little things like that, you know.
Your bros over the.
Yeah.
I've definitely been there where like you hire somebody because they're more your friend than they are the person that should be in that position, and then all of a sudden your friend is taking advantage of the position or not doing the right. Like, bro. And it becomes a huge shitstorm of like. Now you got to make up for the person who's upset that they didn't get it.
Effort,
you know? And you're not focused on the shit that you need to be to really move your shit forward. Yeah. Absolutely. So when you look at the industry now, where do you think is the most room for growth for DJs? Since you focused on branding, the overall...
I mean, I think Twitch, I think the pandemic showed us the direction that we're supposed to be going. I think the fact that everybody got back outside and abandoned Twitch was a disservice to a lot of different DJs.
Now, when you say Twitch, do you mean Twitch just that itself, or like
Twitch
live
as far
streaming?
As live streaming.
Okay.
I only say Twitch because I know Twitch allows you to actually play
music. Yeah, right. It's kind of like uploading to Mixcloud. They're not going to take down your.
Exactly.
I got you.
So I say Twitch just because I've seen other big homies like monetize it out of just doing something out of love. So like Chubby Chub, he started doing it on some fun, and then it turned into like, Chub is winning. Like, he's
it's
doing
funny. I had
thing.
called him up because I was not called him out. I had hit him up on Instagram, and I was just like, "Yo, respectfully, can I just mix against you? Not against him, but like I just want to. I'm trying to get him to listen to me.
Yeah.
So for 5 days, I was just like, hey, respectfully, this is me asking you to listen to my stuff / challenging you. Then he blocked me.
I mean, you gotta remember, Chubb put it.
No, he put in his work, bro. I was a nobody. Yeah, absolutely. Yo, I never took offense, bro. I never took offense. I knew that if I was trying to get anybody to get to know me, I couldn't be an ass.
Yep.
But I had to at least speak their name. Like I have to, 50 said, if we can't be friends, can we be enemies? And like in we're both gonna make each other better. We're both gonna make each other money. So I'm like, all right, well, I tried being everybody's friends and nobody's returning my messages. So maybe if I just put a little bit of like, hey Chubb, just not disrespectful, just like, hey man, I love your crew. I'd love to be a part of it. I'd like to challenge you guys to get in. And they were like, nah, fuck you. But like not in a...
It's one of those things about levels, right? Cause
right,
like,
I was not there.
Yeah.
I was not, I can admit
just
that.
Gotta respect that
absolutely.
Point, right?
I knew what I was doing, and when it flopped, I was like, I ain't mad at it.
Yep.
I tried. We move on to the next,
Because the lion's never going to be worried about the animal.
Exactly, bro.
Like, all right, Prince, do your thing, but I'm good over
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so-
Yeah, man, it's so you're saying in terms of growth, they should focus on Twitch, live streaming.
I think live streaming, showing people your talent, showing people what you're able to do. Again, what's the chance that someone from Germany is gonna be in Boston at this one club on this one day that you're there to see you?
Right.
Now using social media, you create those sets for people. You let people know like these are my skills, and it's allowed to go further now. Right. Additionally, it's now using social media in a way that it benefits you. Don't post something once, post it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't sell yourself, who's gonna sell you? You know. So I do believe Twitch is a way because people are getting long form content, and then figuring out how do I post this on my other social media sites so that people are going back to find the long form, or people are resharing this long form because it's relating or connecting.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
I do think Twitch, going back to that idea of long stream sets, I think that is the wave.
Okay. So it's the exposure that you're increasing because, like you're saying, like someone overseas might not ever be in that club, but they will be on Twitch because that one time, or like they're just scrolling through,
Yep.
and then they come across and you're doing something that
just
right
takes
at that
one
moment, and they're
right?
like, oh, I'll follow them.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you got, okay.
And now you have someone that's selling your praises overseas. You have someone selling your praises in another state.
Right.
So now you just catch the right eye, the right person.
Right.
And they're like, yo, you should try out.
Right.
Now
And because
you
you're
have
online,
content
it's
to
easy to
follow.
just hit that share button. Whereas like in the club, they might take a picture of you, but
Exactly.
that's
no
about
one
it.
knows what it sounds like.
Right. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. When it comes to your journey and everything you've kind of gone through to get to where you are today, what would you say would be your proudest moment as a DJ and then proudest moment as D?
proudest moment as a DJ.
Like the DCaso brand?
Proudest
and then
moment,
outside of DJing in like personal life.
So proudest moment as the DCaso
Yeah.
would be seeing a lot of my boys get on radio with me.
Okay.
So I was one of the originals out of the crew, and then from me, a lot of them like popped on. But it just felt good to be like, damn. Like the crazy thing about radio too is I met my guy Clark, DJ Voyage.
Okay.
We met in a fucking Guitar Center, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I just won this competition to get on air." And I'm like, "Yo, what the hell? I want to be on air," and like everything just balanced out. Where I think our first on air together was that Thanksgiving.
That's
it was
dope.
just dope to be like, damn, we said we were gonna do it, we did it, and then everybody else followed along, and it just feels good.
So that November 23rd,
Yeah.
that was the
I think
first
that
time you
was
both were
first for
spending
both of
together?
us. Yeah.
That's dope.
And so it was just dope to like, it felt like home, it felt like family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as a DJ on that aspect, I think that's one of the dopest things, to just know that whole thing that I was looking for as DS community, I found it in a space musically where I felt like I feel safe around these people. These people aren't trying to like one up me, they're not trying to steal from me. Like we're all trying to help each other succeed.
All right.
So that felt good on that front. As far as D is concerned, my personal goal was like I wanted to be able to put a lot of passport stamps in my passport.
Sure,
right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to travel the world, but I wanted to travel the world as much as possible without me putting up the money first.
Right, you're getting hired to go somewhere versus
Yeah.
going there for vacation and trying to do something.
And
Yeah.
I was blessed to do that multiple times, right? Through Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, working with Token, working with Millie's. I like just having those opportunities to work with different people. I've been able to see the world in so many different ways, multiple times. And I can say I've made connections in so many different places of the world. So it's like
What's one of your favorite places that you've gone to?
Germany.
Yeah?
But Germany, because I went to school there when I was 16.
Okay, so you were familiar with it a
Yeah,
little bit when you went back.
with
Okay.
Germany.
Okay.
So Germany's always been that place that I feel the most comfortable. When it comes to beauty, though, Zurich, Switzerland is my place.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful, the way they respect the hip hop scene, and it just felt good. It felt good.
So for Germany, was it also just like while you were there, it was just you kind of felt at home? Or is it, what about it that...
It's just familiarity, right?
Okay. So in terms of being there, you feel comfortable, it's
Yeah,
nice.
I
And
kinda
then, but
know-
Switzerland is where you go to like,
Yeah.
your mind really gets to kind of
Because
it
again,
all
Germany is, I know the lay of the land ish.
Okay.
Right. Again, I was 16. I'm old now.
Right.
Right.
All right, come on.
Right. But
I follow you.
I was 16, so it's like how everybody was moving then. I got to understand of people's like jokes, why they say certain things, understand that not everything is a direct attack at my culture or my skin color. Like learning that, I think
the
made
tone
us,
of the language.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Seeing things for the first time, like seeing the cops with machine guns, right, walking around, semi-automatic.
But it's different overseas than it is here.
But seeing how comfortable everybody felt,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see like a fear. I didn't see like a.
They
Everybody
weren't
was like,
twitching
whatever.
to it. Yeah,
No one's bothering me.
Just
I'm
another
good.
day.
Yeah. So it just felt good knowing that, and then going back as an adult. It was just like, oh shit.
You could really you could enjoy the moment because you understand everything. From
But then I also knew more of the words as an adult. Like it was easier to get around, order food, get to play. It was good. It was easier.
Well, I mean, when you're 16, it's not like you can go out and do a bunch of things. You know what I mean? So when
Yeah.
you go back as an adult, you got some money in your pocket. You know, you can go wherever you want, whenever you want. Yeah.
So that's all it is.
Okay.
And Zurich is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. That's all.
Now, these were trips that you took personally, or these were through the cruises that you ended up there? Okay.
A lot of my travel has come through some kind of work.
Okay.
Right. So, and that's why I say I'm blessed for it, because I didn't plan on any of this really. It was just things just worked out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Just constantly working on your craft, putting yourself in a position of a group of people who were.
Yeah.
The network.
Just being myself.
Yeah.
I'm never not gonna be myself.
Yeah.
Like quirks and all.
That's how it works, man. That's how you stand out. You try to be like everybody else. You know?
Everybody else is taken. Be yourself.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is one of my favorite questions that I like to ask is, if you could only take one lesson in everything that you've learned up until this point,
Yep.
and everything got erased and you got back to day one, the very beginning of everything, to start it over and get to this point again,
Yep.
what would that lesson be for you that you would start with?
Be more selfish.
Be more selfish.
Be more selfish.
Okay.
And it goes back to me saying that I spend a lot of time trying to ensure other people's happiness and success to the detriment of my own happiness and success. And that's both financially, that's emotionally, mentally, physically. I've exerted a lot of myself on others where I should have reserved a lot more of that for myself.
Okay.
And I think in doing so, I would have been a stronger human individually. I think a lot of the traumas and pitfalls that I faced earlier would have been avoided. Am I unhappy with anything? No. I think everything made me the human I am now.
Right. You have the thick skin you have now because you ate the shit that you ate.
Right.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I love it. I'm good now. But it's more of a, damn, I wish I could have.
Where would have, if
I see those opportunities where it's like, yo, if I would have just took care of D, I would have been comfortable to the point that I could have changed. Like, you got to give from a full cup, full glass, right? I tend to always give from a half-empty cup, and then feel.
You were trying to fill yours while there was a hole in the bottom, fill in the next person.
Like, you understand? So, be more selfish.
Okay.
And
now, do you think the turning point for you for that, when you actually eventually kind of instilled that in yourself, do you think that was when you became DCaso, or like when exactly did you feel that turning point happen where you're like, I'm never letting this happen? Was there a specific situation, or like
it's never officially stuck?
Okay.
I'm human, right? Like
right,
the honest part about it is that it just takes the right person that makes me switch off and go back into, this is what I'm used to doing.
Okay.
This feels comfortable, right? Okay. This is how I show you that I care, by being like, I'm gonna shut down Daryl to make sure that you know that I'm giving you my all. It is definitely something that I'm still working on. But I think what's become more special is that the people around me have been advocating more for me to cut the shit, right? So the Johnnies, the Oscars will be like, yo, Daryl, stop. Like, we're good, stop. We're focus on you. Yo, friends, Daryl, stop. Focus on you. We're good. Like, understand, you have people to support you too. You don't always have to be the main person supporting. Right. You have a team. You have a back. So I think it's that level of finally letting my guard down, which I think that's that New York in me forever. Like, it's just hard to be like,
because you walk down the street, you don't know
exactly.
So it's always,
and I'm still unfamiliar in this place, you know. So it's always that place of thrive, but I'm still surviving, right? So
Yeah.
it's like it's hard to balance both, right? Like it's okay to thrive now. It's okay, bro. All the techniques you used to survive helped you. You're good now. You can start thriving now. You can start enjoying life. You can start relaxing, letting your guard down. So I think that fight is gonna take a little bit just because I've done this for so long.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
that to me is it, but it's not something that I've officially adapted. I'll be
You're still working on it.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
aware of it now.
Yeah.
I'm way more aware of it now.
Right.
I feel my soul draining more, and I'm like, I need time. I need space. I need to do this for me, like you know,
Yeah.
so I can advocate better for myself.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
It's, I get that vibe from Big O for
Yeah,
sure. You know, so like, because you guys told me that you two were kind of the first two that like worked together when it
Yeah,
came
yeah,
to
yeah.
the boats and
Yeah.
that whole deal. So it's definitely a vibe that I get from him. It's like, yo, do your thing, bro. I ain't never gonna limit you. Do your thing. I'm here for you. Like, rock. As long as you're rocking hard, you ain't fucking up the thing. Like, do you,
that's
bro?
all that matters.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all that matters.
Yeah,
That's
he's-
my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
Oscar and Johnny were the original. It was us three in the beginning, and as we all sifted, O just stayed strong. He's like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm gonna make this work for everybody.
Yeah.
Oscar's a beast
He is, man.
because he was not sleeping, he wasn't home, but he made that thing turn.
Yeah.
And then he was like, once it started getting to a comfortable place, and all of us, he was like, all right, let's start expanding the team. You know, so it felt good, bro. It feels good to see your boy do something good. But that's one of those opportunities where I'm glad I put the time in with somebody.
Right.
And it did come around full circle,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like you have those people that make you feel hopeful. And that's what Oscar is to me. He's like that. He's my human hope in essence,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
He's just dope. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
That man makes
He's
me
a
happy.
grinder, bro.
He makes me happy.
I haven't gotten the chance yet to like have like a real
Yeah,
close
yeah,
relationship
yeah.
with him. I've talked to him a few times.
Of
We've,
course.
changed crews,
Yeah,
conversations
yeah.
and stuff like that. But I'm curious to pick his brain because like for me, I'm the type of person I wake up at like 3-4 o'clock in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
morning,
yeah.
I get my shit in, I get my work done, that whole deal. I told you about my
Yeah,
son
yeah.
a little bit and whatnot. So when I check my social media, I always kind of look at like what time they wake up, what time did this shit start, what time did it end. Like that's like for
Mhm.
me, it's not just what you got done, it's what time did you start it and when did you stop it.
Yep.
There's something about putting in the hours that,
Mhm.
and when I look at Oscar, I'm like, yo, he's at the gym, he's at the garage, then he's on the boats, then he's going out with everybody to network. When the fuck does this guy sleep? You know
That's
what I mean?
what,
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like I really appreciate it because
Yeah.
even before he had multiple jobs.
Yeah.
Like Oscar's been a workhorse the entire time I've
Yeah.
known him, and he's always left time for his family and his friends.
Yeah.
So that's just something I always acknowledge, you know.
Yeah, you can tell he cares when you're like reading the group chats or putting everything together. You can tell like he wants to take care of his guys or his team. You can
Mhm.
see it. So it is it's refreshing to be around, as you're saying, like seeing people who aren't trying to take and they ain't trying to tell you to give them their all every single night. Like, yo, we good.
Yep.
That it is.
It's just
There's
good.
something
Feels
to it
good.
to having those
Yeah,
people around
yeah,
you. Absolutely.
yeah.
So I think you kind of answered this already. I'll ask it, but I think
Yeah.
you kind of already said it. Which is, what advice would you give to a DJ who's starting out right now, day one, and they're looking at you and saying like, "Yo, I want to get to where DCaso is." What would be your first bit of advice that you'd give them to get on
Don't
that
look
path?
for a shortcut.
Don't look for a
Do
shortcut.
not look for a shortcut and make yourself useful. Right? I have a very big disdain for people that just ask for handouts and you provide nothing to me.
Right.
And I'm appreciative for my big bro Pup for teaching me that. But it's just one of those things, like if you see that I'm out, come take your phone out, create social media for me, take videos for me, take pictures for me. I don't have time to do it while I'm DJing.
Sure.
So now create a place of worth for yourself,
Right.
for me in my space,
Right.
right? You see me always carrying X amount of equipment, be at the club early to help me carrying in that equipment. That's beneficial. Like you're helping me do something,
Right.
right? Just something. Hey, I look through your social media and I see these are the areas. I'm a web designer. Let me help you design your page.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, these are things that I've noticed from other DJs. Maybe you want to implement this into your. Create a space where I see you as wealth, and then I will now give you the necessary access to my circle, to my ideas, to my training. Like do something. And if you're not going to provide any of those, then be prepared to pay, right? You got to put the time in. Anybody that wants to be successful and they're not willing to put up money and or time, they want a handout.
Absolutely.
I'm very big on
Absolutely.
that. It's either you're going to pay for it or you're going to put in some kind of work to get it. If not, you're looking for a handout.
Yeah.
Leave me out of that, please.
Yeah.
You know?
It's if you're not willing to eat shit and you're not trying to create value, you're probably playing the wrong game.
Yep.
In the long run to get what you want. If you're just here thinking the money is what's gonna wake you up every morning, you're in for a long night. You know.
And that's all it is for me.
Yeah.
That's all it is for me.
Do you have a favorite motivational quote? Something that when you hear it or read it, not that you keep it with you every single day, but when it comes across your mind, you're like, you feel almost like recharged or refreshed, or is there something you say to yourself that helps you it gives you that boost?
Not necessarily. I think my motivation as of late is just to make my mom proud. So she passed away, 8 years now? My motivation is just to be like, look, Mom, look what your son's doing, right? My mom was like a traveler. She used to pay for a lot of people to take trips. She used to help everybody out at school, like that type of mom. On top of like working unnecessarily and having us. So it's like, for me, I'm just like, yo, Mom, I went to this country. I know you say you want to go there one time. Like, I still need to get to Africa because that was a stomping ground. But,
okay.
Like, that's going to be one of those like sentimental moments for me. But like, I just want to be like, yo, look, Mom, look what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy. I did the degree thing. Yes, I still have that. Like, I'm still giving back to the community as much as possible. So I'm doing that aspect of your life, but look at me also doing the traveling part. Like,
do you have a favorite memory that pops up in your mind when it comes to your mom, or like a few, something that?
I mean, my favorite memory is also like a memory I don't want to share.
Okay, understandable. Yeah.
Just because you know what I mean. Caribbean parents doing what they was doing, and I'm appreciative for it.
Yeah. Maybe a lesson that she taught you that you find
respect everybody. My mom was big on respect. Like, respect the gender the same way that she respect the person at the top. She was so big on that. Like, she was just always big on respect. Like, speak people's names properly, be mindful of the words that you say outside, because those words do come back to become like reality, right? So she was very mindful of speaking positivity into the world. Speak positivity, and that your tongue is so strong. So if you're constantly telling yourself that you're not enough, that you can't make it, that's exactly what's going to happen, right? But if you're speaking positivity into the world, that shit will manifest itself one way or another, So,
right.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Like, how strong the tongue is to manifest positivity.
Have you ever found yourself going the opposite direction and hearing your mom's voice cut it off and say, like, it's not positive, it's not working in your favor? Or what? Like, I guess my question is, as you say this, and she was a leading example of that.
Yep.
Speaking the positivity, have you ever found yourself having to stop yourself and be like, no, the way I'm talking about it right now,
yes,
needs to be corrected?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot. Even
now, or like, what do you?
Something I've learned about myself is that I'm such a critical thinker.
Okay.
That I'm always gonna tell you, like, yo, this idea would be so dope. And then right after I tell you what the dope idea is, I'm gonna tell you, but this is how this idea can go the fuck up. And this is da 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 da.
Okay.
Right, and then I create extra stress for myself because then I'm like, I gotta do it by myself. Reality is, I just need to find a team that can help take these parts off of it for me. So it's like, that's something that I've been way more mindful of.
Okay.
Coming up with this creative idea and then automatically coming up with why this won't work. But again, I'm just a critical thinker. Like, how I think about business and getting things done is like, I need to come up with what's going to probably be a problem sooner so that I can now put that into my plan of attack. But I also feel like in doing that, I definitely take the fun out of my dream and my idea, and now it becomes work.
Right.
Versus that dream.
Waking up and smiling and getting ready after. Yeah.
I automatically take the fun out of it and put it to work. So
it's funny you say this because I was having a conversation with my best friend because I'm gonna cut this part about. I'm about to propose to my girl.
Okay, my boy.
Next Thursday. All right. So this part I'm gonna cut up.
Yeah.
So I proposed to my girl next Thursday, and we were talking, and we were basically saying like, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this because I want to bring it back into the conversation. as you look at what you're doing and how you say it and how you do it, it plays a big role to how you continue to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling him about all these different things I want to do for my girl and the proposal and all that. And each time I would be like, but if this happens, then...
That's me, bro.
And I find myself being like, yo, everything I do has two versions of me.
Yep.
There's the, all right, let's go get it. And then
Yeah.
the other side of me like, yeah, but if you go get it, like,
This is what you
what
leave
about
yourself
this,
open
and
up to.
this?
Yeah.
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 You know? And for me, it's always like the biggest factor now, and I would assume for yourself as well. Like, that's why I'm so appreciative that you're doing this, and I'll wrap it up soon because I know we're hitting our 1 hour limit. But is it takes time to do that to yourself, thinking positive and the opposite, negative, and you end up stressing yourself out over something that most of the time, for me anyway, never comes to fruition. It never comes real.
Yep.
It just stresses you out.
Yep.
Then you do it and you're like, oh, if I had just done this in the beginning,
I would have been just fine and
just
save
fine.
some time.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's such a wild thing to be your worst critic.
But it's trauma,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
like, how many people can actually acknowledge that a lot of that self-doubt is from trauma? It's from asking for something and not getting it.
Yeah.
It's from expecting something and not receiving what you expected.
Right.
So it's that stuff of us always holding in that trauma and not getting it out,
Do you think that's what limits a lot of people?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I know my desire to try to take on the load for everybody else comes from trauma, from things that I wasn't able to receive younger, right?
So
it's
you
like,
want them to have
I
it,
feel like
yeah.
I manifested now on the other end, because I'm like, I'm gonna take this pain away from you so that you can smile the way I wanted to smile. Right. So it's just dope. I think in age, I've just been able to acknowledge, like, damn, where does this personality trait come from? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And now I'm like, all right, now what can I do to combat that? So like, I feel like I'm ready at that space where it's like, once I find a therapist, I feel like I'm gonna shine, bro. I feel like I'm finally gonna shine the way I was supposed to. But I now can tell you, like, this is why I get angry from this. This is why I talk this way, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, I think that's the dopest part about growing too.
Yeah.
Being
figuring out what triggers you and why it triggers you and where it came from, that trigger.
But then having the verbiage to actually explain it too.
Right.
Because I think without us having the verbiage, it turns into this person's not understanding.
Yeah,
anger.
absolutely. That conversation of being able to not offend someone, relate to them, but at the same time not overshadow what it is that they're telling you about what caused them to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, growth.
Yeah.
Growth.
It's interesting, and I'll leave this before I kind of wrap up here, but it is interesting to watch that if you're in the right group of friends or the right circle and you have weaknesses and they have strengths, you slowly find yourself, like for me, I was always good on the mic, but I never wanted to grab the mic.
Yep.
I can speak it, I can do weddings, I do everything, I got the formalities, everything. But the desire to get on the mic while I'm DJing, unless it's an announcement, I had no fucking desire. Because I'm like, well, I'm just disturbing the crowd. I know what I'm doing. I'm good. Then you get on these boat cruises and you're like, yo, I got to do a full-blown intro, tell them where everything is, like anything they need. And it's like, not that it's any different from anything else. It's just the consistency of doing it, being in a group of people who do this on a regular basis, who put me into the mix. Now, anytime I get on, I'm like, yo,
comfort.
There's no sweat behind it anymore. So when you say that, I'm like, it's true. When you put yourself around people who shine, and they might not.
You might elevate.
Yeah.
You elevate off of proximity. I'm so big on that. You elevate off of proximity. If someone is a shitty ass human, you're gonna go down because of proximity. So you have to be mindful of what you consider your circle, your
It's. I can speak for myself. I can't speak for others, but sometimes I find myself being intimidated to try to find the person who's better than me, because my ego gets bruised a little bit, knowing that I'm not the better DJ in the room or whatever it is that I'm doing. But at the same time, everything inside of me is like, but if you learn from this person, not in like I'm trying to take what they got, but in like when I was explaining to you about the video company after I left the club and stuff, and I just went and I shot videos, and then like it's transitioned now to where like they trust me wholeheartedly. You know, they take care of me, they refer me, all this stuff. So How important would you say it is to go find people who are better than you at stuff?
I think that is a common misconception. I
Okay.
don't necessarily think you always need to find a person above you.
Okay.
I do think that you should try to network with people that are in similar positions but in different fields.
Okay.
Right? So you can find a B plus DJ that does clubs, find a B plus DJ that does weddings, find a B plus DJ
Okay.
that does
Okay.
cruises.
All right.
Right? And the skills that y'all exchange in those little linear movements
Okay.
will actually be so much more beneficial than necessarily talking to that person that's above you.
Okay.
Because that person above you may see you as a annoyance, an
Sure.
extra
Sure.
step.
Okay.
So are they
Yeah.
necessarily giving
Are you here to
the-
take something from me? Okay.
right? So are they
Alright.
necessarily giving you those tips that are gonna rocket launch your career versus those people that don't see competition because we're in totally
Several
opposite
different-
fields,
yeah, uh-huh.
but we're at the exact same level ish. I think this is where the better connections come from. Talk to your peers that are doing those exact same things. And then I feel like now you're going to be the person that is the top tier because you've learned how to be a wedding DJ, a cruise ship DJ, a radio DJ,
Right,
an artist DJ. So now you have all these skills wrapped up. It's just for you to wait for your opportunity, right? Or not wait, for you to create your opportunity
Sure.
to showcase those skills. So I think too many people have the idea of I need to always talk to the boss for me to get better as a person
Okay.
versus find people in similar fields across the board. So if I'm the president at Bentley, let me go talk to the president at Thing, not let me necessarily go talk to whoever the hell.
Another
above
car
me.
manufacturer, but a plane manufacturer.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
But like they're sitting at the same level, they just have different knowledge in a different area that can
Exactly.
help you expand
and that's
and
all
bring
it
you
is.
that. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think too many people are looking for that up versus across. Across to me gets you so much further than.
I've never heard it like that. I've never been gun shy to go ask somebody
Yeah.
or approach them. I'm not saying it always works.
Yeah.
Hence the chubby chubs thing that I was just talking about. But I take the shot. You know?
Yeah.
So the way you're explaining it seems to be one that if people understood the value of their neighbor more than the boss, they could get further because they're getting actual useful information from someone who's like,
They
You know,
don't
they-
see you as a threat. They
yeah.
don't see you as competition. They
Right.
don't see you trying to take something from them. They just see like, oh, this is actually an exchange that now I might learn how to DJ the clubs better. Now I might learn how to DJ the
right.
and now we created a bond where it's like, yo, bro, I can't do this, but I know that you have all the skills and learnings that I just gave you. Come do this for me, I feel secure. Come
Yeah.
do this for me, I feel secure.
Right.
So now it turns into that bond of, all right, cool, we're all getting
Right.
to this, right? Like instead of wanting to do the top club, do the bars. The bar scene is still making money
Absolutely.
and doing
Absolutely.
a lot more than the club.
Uh-huh.
So,
I've made more money working at bars, getting a percentage of the bar in the door, than I've done what anybody who tells me private events, I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yep,
I get in on 4 hours, get out on 4 hours, I got a cut of the bar, I got the door, and I'm out.
that's all I'm saying.
And
So it's knowing feels and not necessarily, again, yes, I've done the club, so I can say that, like, oh, whatever the clubs, right?
Right.
I can say that now,
Right,
but
right.
at the exact same time, it's just understanding, like, every different avenues for different resources. If you're looking for financial gain, it's probably going to be from a bar.
Right.
If you're looking for exposure, it's probably going to be from a club. If you're looking for multiple clients, it's probably going to be from a wedding or from a private event, right? So it's like, what are you looking for out of it? Understanding what these different avenues give you access to. So,
Right.
again, things you learn after you've done almost everything.
Right. And that's kind of how it is, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What is your most memorable gig?
Most memorable gig is probably, again, I think Zurich, because the airline lost our luggage. It's myself and Token. We go on stage in our basketball shorts, like straight, like and I just remember enjoying myself, like to the point I took my shirt off. Oh, actually, Gathering of the Juggalos. Gathering of the Juggalos was the best event I've ever done.
What was that?
Because it was like the most. So Insane Clown Posse does this festival. I think it was like in Idaho. I don't remember. Anyway, long story less long. Me and the boy got our shirts off on stage. People throwing in bottles of piss, right? And that's like a sign of respect in that community, bro. It's
Because you're in like that area where like going to a bathroom is a mile away.
Bro, it's just I don't know the logic behind it, but there's certain things that are considered signs of respect.
Yeah.
as far as juggalos,
Okay.
right? But either way, we're on stage, got our shirts off, we're jumping around the stage, acting a fool, water throwing, and then someone throws a bottle of piss, and he catches it, and the crowd just goes, right? And we're just looking at each other like, but it's just like, no. So it was just one of those moments where it's just like, damn, I'm on stage with my brother, and we're having a fucking great time.
Blast, no
It's
matter
like,
what's happening.
Yeah, man, it was just one of those, like, you build those relationships with people they become your family. So it's like to do that with someone I consider my brother. But then to be in that environment where it's like, yo, we're both out of our comfort zone, but this is fire. Yeah, gathering the juggalos.
That's dope.
Gathering the juggalos. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then to just wrap up, because I know I don't want to take too much more of your time, is what do you have going on now that you want people to know about? You're promoting social media. Where can they find you? Like
social media, everything is at DJ DCaso, and that's across all platforms. www.djdecaso.com.
When do you do your Twitches and like those live?
So I haven't started the Twitches yet.
Okay.
I'm trying to get back into it.
Okay.
It's more of I haven't found a window, and that's the monetary aspect of Twitch, where you need to be consistent with your time frame.
Right.
So you need to do it at 3
Charles
o'clock
was doing
every
it.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I saw his schedule.
You have to, and if you don't, you won't be able to monetize it, right? But right now, just check my page out for the little short form content I'm doing. Trying to do it at a bunch of different venues, just spaces that you wouldn't necessarily expect a DJ to just sit and do it at. Just more so to like sharpen my skills and play the music that I don't necessarily get to play in clubs. I mean, I do, but not necessarily, Right. So check out my page for that. Check out for that.
Definitely. All right, bro. Thank you so much for your time.
Got you, buddy.
I appreciate it.
You already know.
Everybody, DJ DCaso. I'll add all his social media on here, so it'll be easy to find him. Other than that, Lefty DCaso out.
We out.
Peace.